We're now going to study the 20th Perek of Yehoshua. Happy Purim, everyone. Hashem, vayidaber Hashem el Yehoshua lemor. One almost, if you're not reading the text, you would think vayidaber Hashem el Moshe lemor, because all we have finished, when you finish the Torah, the words vayidaber Hashem el Moshe lemor is so often. Here, Yehoshua is the one who Hashem is speaking to. And it's Lashon Vayidaber. Dibur is a much stronger Lashon than Amira. Just to speak is much more soft. But here, Yehoshua is being spoken to in a very strong way. Now, he's being spoken to in a strong way because this is going to be very fundamental. This is a mitzvah. This mitzvah was given initially to Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu knew that he was going to fulfill this mitzvah of setting up 3 Arei Miklat, the idea we will get into. But just think about it. He's given a task, and he knows that his task is not going to count until way after he is gone. And that the results of the task, he's not going to reap any benefits. He's not going to get any praise or any accolade. He's not going to see it through. And yet, he sacrifices, and he does it willingly and happily. What an important way just to recognize that the idea of the Arei Miklat, the idea we'll get into, has a deeper, even more profound lesson for all of us. And that is the lesson of just follow Hashem. Just do it. Don't think, oh, but I won't be able to do it well, or I won't be able to do it enough. It's okay to just give it your best shot, knowing, as we've mentioned many a times, success comes from Hashem, effort comes from man. And so Moshe was given the task, a very formidable task, because he knew he wasn't going to complete it. And Yehoshua now is going to be completing that task. Daber al b'nei Yisrael lemor, speak to the b'nei Yisrael saying, calmly, right? Daber but lemor, say calmly. Tnu lachem, you're going to set up an Arei Miklat, just the same way that I spoke to Moshe. Now, what is an Ir Miklat? An Ir Miklat, loosely translated, is a place of refuge. If somebody kills somebody else, bishgaga, by mistake, balidas, completely unintentionally, right? By yulachem lemiklat, he can run someplace so that it could serve as a refuge for him, so that the Gol Hadam, the person who legitimately has the right to go and hurt him, kill him, and be upset with him, cannot get there. V'nasal achad maharim ha'ila, and you will flee to one of those cities, and v'amad pesach shahar ha'ir, and stand at the entrance of the city gate. You're going to plead to the elders of the Zikain ha'ir, and they're going to decide whether or not you should be living amongst them. So here we have that there are going to be 6 Arei Miklat. These cities are these cities, so to speak, of refuge. The people, the Ziknei Ha'ir, the important people are by the gate, and they're going to decide whether he can join them. Now, those cities, as we know, were Levium cities. Those were cities where the spiritual people are there. And so that's going to be significant. And if someone tries to come and kill him, you can't give him up to the murderers. Because he didn't do it on purpose. And it was determined that he didn't hate him from before. It was just an accident. And then he has to stay there ad mot Kohen Gadol, until Kohen Gadol dies. That will be bayamim in those days. Okay, that's an interesting phrase. We have to understand that. And then he can go back to his house, and he doesn't have to worry, because then at that point, no one is going to be allowed to kill him. So what exactly is going on here? So essentially, the Kohen Gadol he was really the one who should have davened on behalf of the people. And for whatever reason, his tefillos did not prevent this from happening. Bayamim hahim, well, we know that phrase. Many times when that phrase is used in those days, it's to highlight that everyone, Hashem puts people in every generation to be representative for the people of that generation. And so you cannot comment and say, well, had this Kohen Gadol been like Aaron, been like Elazar, been like anybody else, this would never have happened. That's called Lashon Hara, and that's not okay, and that's also not true. We have another lesson, which is Hashem puts exactly whoever and whatever together, and we have to have bitachon that the situation there has to be a deeper message to the situation. So what could that be? So let's first understand together there are 6 of them. 3 on one side of the Yarden that Moshe created, and 3 on the other side that Yehoshua is creating. But there are only 3 Shvatim on the other side of the Yarden. So why did they get 3 and Eretz Yisrael gets 3? Like the other side of the Yarden get 3. Like it doesn't seem to make any sense. And so we have to understand that, first of all, there were a lot of, unfortunately, there were a lot of people being murdered. The Mefarshim talk about that it was really needed, and that there was more murders that were happening on that other side of the Yarden. Perhaps because of the Kedusha of Eretz Yisrael on that other side of the Yarden was so significant that perhaps it enveloped people to be a little bit more conscious. You see, the person who killed B'mezid, how did that happen? Why was he the one who was a non-purposeful killer? So perhaps if we understand that he left himself open and vulnerable to other aviros because he was on that way. And it was Hashem's kindness to create the situation of a murder to give him that final kick in the pants, where he probably got many kicks in the pants, but until that final one where now you're going to be enveloped in a city of a lot of didactics and Torah learning, because you really need to come back to me and cling to me. And Esti Kimpley mentioned something like this in one of the ideas that she talks about, and that is, if we think about it, who was the first one that Hashem showed this kindness to? It's Adam Arishon. He was kicked out of Gan Eden. He was kicked out of Gan Eden, and now people were no longer going to live forever. So the idea of death is really, now why did that happen? Because we weren't worthy of it. We needed to come back to Hashem. We needed to be punished through the idea and the concept of death in order to reconnect to Hashem, to be able to get right back to where we really belong. And so Hashem, in his infinite mercy, is saying, you're disconnected. I want you to reconnect to me. I tried it probably a lot of other ways, but now this is what it's going to be. You're going to be forced into deeper connection, learning more about your mistakes, not being so, yes, you didn't actively hate somebody, but were you that connected to me? How's your bein adam l'makom? How's your bein adam l'chavero? Mitzvah between man and man, mitzvah between man and Hashem. Clearly, there was something lacking. And now, you're going to be really focused on it. Oh, yes, you are, because you're going to be living in one of the Levi cities. Now, we know that Shevet Levi, we know that they were the most connected even from when they were born, because Leah, she says, Hapam yilabeh ishi, now through the birth of my son Levi, what's going to happen is a connection. And we know all throughout, in Bereshis, what we have is the people of Levi are connected. We have Levi who's connected to Shimon and destroys everything. We have Levi, the Bas Levi takes Amram, and they get married. Both there's so much, and they remarry each other. It's so much connection. Moshe, Aaron, Miriam, they were the epitome of trying to help Klal Yisrael become connected to each other, to Hashem. They're all from Levi. And so the Levium, they are the prime candidates for this level of connection. And in fact, Esther Kimberly mentions, which is a beautiful idea, that the words of the names of the place, Shechem, Hebron, and Kadesh, those three places have the words of exactly what the Kadesh have the exact wording of what we are hoping this person who killed, unintentionally, gets back to. So we have Shechem. The word Shechem means to connect. A part of yourself, a Shechem, is a part. So we want to connect all of our parts to Hashem. Hebron is from the word chibur, a connection, and Kadesh, that's our whole essence, is trying to be Makadesh ourselves so that we can connect our body, soul, and everything to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And so the places themselves highlight that this is not just plain jail. No. There's a reason, there's a rhyme and a reason why this particular neshamala was a killer b'shogeg, where his actions need to change, and the importance of it. And so on the one hand, it's a place of refuge, it's a place of protection. On the other hand, it's a real punishment because he's now not able to go home. He has to be, he has to be sequestered in this place for a really long time. But I think most importantly, it's an opportunity to connect to Hashem. It's the final stop. Like, that's it. If you can't pull this one, we're forcing you to really reconnect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in a way that really understands that, yes, maybe you didn't hate the guy, but are you on the right frequency? Are you on the right wavelength? And so for that, we have 3 on one side of the Yarden, we have 3 on the other side. We have the idea of protection, that there's always a way to protect. And we have the idea, and this is a beautiful idea, that all of the people knew there were a lot of signs that pointed to the Ir Miklat. Now that's very nice, so that he can flee and he's not gonna, he'll make it and he won't be killed on the way. But in contradistinction to what we know about 3 times a year, people did Aliyah L'Regel. They went up to Yerushalayim. Was there a sign? Was there the same clear delineated marking? No, there wasn't. Not one little marking. Because while we're trying to protect this man who is so disconnected, so we're giving him kind of the base to go, okay, you reconnect. He wouldn't be getting connected to the people along the way. So, and it would be dangerous. But when it comes to Aliyah L'Regel, on Sukkot, on Pesach, on Shavuos, Hashem didn't want that you just go straight to me. Says Hashem, I don't want that. I want you to, do some kiruv, get some brownie points in your Bein Atzal Machabiro, get to know people, be with people. And in doing so, you're going to connect to me ultimately when you get to the end. But all along the way, connect with the people. Here, this man's on his own internal journey. He's on a journey that he really does need a lot of help. And so we help him. We put out all the billboards. We make sure that he knows exactly and everyone knows exactly where to go. And the distance between all of the places was pretty similar, and also in a nice, neat, orderly way. Because Hashem just says, you know what? My goal is not just to give you this land. My goal is to help to elevate this land and to elevate you to Kedusha. And so it's really essential that we have it from the get-go. The idea that bad things sometimes happen. Accidents happen and people go off the derech. But the good news is that we have a built-in way to get you right back home. And so all signs point to what we really know to be true, which is Hashem loves us, which is why there are 6 Arei Miklat, and there are 6 words of Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. And that just allows for there to be that deeper connection. We believe Hashem takes care of us in all situations, just like we believe that this, especially during the time now of the war with Iran, that Hashem will take care of us in all situations. And just like we had a Purim, where we were successful, Baruch Hashem, from the Haman, we will have that again, B'mihira B'yaminu.